And now it's time for our Rants and Raves, starting with Roy Harris. Roy, what do you got?
Well, it's Olympics night. The opening ceremonies are tonight, and very soon, in fact. And I have a rave for one of my favorite people in sports media, and that's Bob Costas. He is the master of ceremonies for these Olympics, and hard to believe he's 64 going on 24, I'd say, the way he looks. But here is a guy who does amazing amount of homework, in addition to having this great experience of having covered so many Olympics, like Jim McKay of old, the ones so many of us grew up with. And I think especially in these chaotic Rio Games, it's going to be great to have someone like him combining understanding and context for what's going on at the Games, athletic as well as the financial and horror story.
So do you think, as the MC for NBC News, that if the Games are falling apart or Rio's falling apart around the Games, will he be able to be honest?
I think he will. I think, it's hard to tell how far he's going to go, but I think he'll realize that the chaos and the difficulties of the Games, however you put them, are really a huge part of the story.
He'll probably be happy if he gets through it without another dose of pink eye.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think chaos would be good for ratings.
That's
true.
true.
It doesn't matter,
Shirley, you're up next.
Yeah, I also am part of the Olympic spirit tonight, and I have a rave for NBC. I should note in full disclosure that I am a paid contributor to NECN, which is owned by NBC in town. But the NBC has decided to go all in on the Olympics. I know they paid a lot for it, but 6,700 hours of coverage across 11 NBC channels are in the family. I think that's 1,200 more hours than London, and so and I think I read some stat like in the 1996 Olympics only had like 170 hours. So we are getting a full dose, and a lot of it will be live streamed.
Do we need all that? I mean, that's a lot of TV.
Well,
sports TV.
It is a lot, but I was thinking about all these athletes, they've trained for years, and think about all the families and people. I mean, you kind of want to get into the Olympic moment. And I mean, we've read so many negative stories about the Olympics, but then you start to hear the stories about the athletes themselves and what they've gone through. It lifts your spirits.
All right, next up we have Josh.
I have another Olympics-related rave, but not NBC or Bob Costas related. The Olympics are, alongside the every four-year presidential election, the moment in which news organizations spend months and months, sometimes years, preparing to put out the most spectacular digital experiences that they possibly can. Because they are on a calendar, they know how things are going to go, they plan these remarkable digital experiments. This year we have the New York Times, which is having a sports editor in Rio who is going to be texting individually with New York Times readers. He'll be sending you text messages from the scene, and they built an interesting back end that will allow him to be communicating with thousands of different readers in a somewhat individualized way. The Guardian is running experiments on how far they can push the idea of push notifications to your phone. If you have an Android phone and you sign up, there will be quizzes and games and things inside the push notifications that you get. It's kind of technologically interesting. The Washington Post is using robot reporters, algorithmic programs
that's a bad sign.
to create some of the basic medal stories. It's just we're going to see over the next few weeks some amazing data visualizations, interactive graphics. There are a lot of technologists for whom this is their Super Bowl, and a rave to them because we're going to see some great work over the next few weeks.
Is there an app that'll wake you up when you fall asleep on the couch in front of some god-awful, dull fencing event or whatever?
Biathlon today. Yeah, right.
I'm sorry.
John.
Okay, I have kind of a mournful lament more than a rant or rave, and it's for the apparent demise of the Sharknado series. The latest edition, Sharknado 4, aired last weekend. Take a look at a little bit of it.
How can they survive at sea? How can they survive in a tornado?
I don't understand American culture. Sharks in space. It's Shakespearean. Look at how beautifully shot that is. How realistic. It's as if you are there. And throughout the last 4 years, Sharknado, I think, has not only set new standards for cinematography and filmmaking, but also brought the country together. It's been a social media phenomenon. It's been a ratings phenomenon, but now it's fading away. Our attention span for true art just isn't what it used to be.
You're making me misty-eyed here. Very nice homage. All right, I have a quick rant about the cheapening of the term exclusive. We had Senator Elizabeth Warren stop by WGBH for a big interview with Jim Browdy this week. We were very excited about it. WCVB also spoke with the senator and WBZ. John, I think you chatted with her as well.
I did.
CVB and BZ both ended up in one way or another labeling their interviews as exclusives. I don't think we did. If I'm wrong about that, you should let me know. We all talked to her. We should all act like we talked to her.
I don't know how that happened. We should not have done that. I apologize.
Righteous. All right, and that's it for tonight. Tell us what you think. Email us, tweet us, or leave us a comment. We are always on at beatthepress.org.